My name's Kayla Heinrich. I am a single mom of 3 kids. I currently manage Dairy Queen in Soldotna. And I'm going back to school for nursing, and I'm an addict in long-term recovery. Favorite color is purple. My favorite animal is a wolf. I believe that sparkles are a color. And I have a huge faith in God. And that's what saved my life. I grew up going to church every Sunday with my family. My family is very Christian-oriented. My mom was a single mom. I grew up with my mom and my brother, and my grandparents were really involved. My dad was never around. Life was very chaotic, to say the least, as a kid. Lots of traumas, lots of things. Fighting depression and anxiety and PTSD was a lot. I always believed in God, but I never had a relationship with him. Growing up, my mom had multiple boyfriends in the house, abusive boyfriends, alcoholics, drug addicts around. I was raped twice by the time I was 15. I tried to kill myself when I was 13. I started smoking weed when I was 12, trying to fill a void for my dad not being there, and tried filling that with men. And I got pregnant when I was 16, had my daughter. Then had another kid at 19, met a guy, got into drugs, and it was all terrible, off and on for 5 years, in and out of my drug addiction, very badly. Caught a lot of charges, I'm a felon now. I always had a belief in God, like that never faded. I just was missing a relationship or an understanding, and the church that I grew up in kind of gave me a misconception on Christians, and that they were very judgmental. And that's one thing I found here. Like, I started here when I was probably 17, right after I had my daughter. And you guys always met me with no judgment, no pushing. It was just open arms meeting me where I was at. Like, the big adults in my life that impacted me are my grandparents. Mr. Daniels, he was my 5th grade teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss Trudy, Miss Leslie, and Miss Carlene were big people, and the Spinkas. So I was in Serenity House, a treatment center here, and I was outside at the campfire reading my Bible, and I was just kind of like, God, like, if you're actually here and you're actually want purpose for me, like, show me. And the wind flipped my pages of the Bible to Proverbs 8, and I read the verse. It was, he created me before anything else. And it was like, oh God, like, he actually does. He actually does have purpose for me, and he loves me, and he knows me. And it was kind of like a process. It wasn't like one big, like, oh, I'm ready to be baptized. It was a very long and slow process, because he knows that I can only handle a little bit at a time. And I was watching people get baptized every week, and I was like, I wish I had the courage to do that, like, because I have a huge public speaking anxiety, huge. And then my daughter started being interested, and she was asking questions, and so we were talking to Miss Val, and she wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it, so we were like, well, let's do it together. And my mom, we were talking to her, and she's like, you don't have to do it in front of a crowd. You can do it privately. So that's what we did.
Kind of talk about, you know, what you remember from that moment, if you want to.
The only word that comes to mind is freedom. Like, my chains were broken. Like, I was suddenly free and able to live a life that I was proud of.
What day were you baptized again?
May 2nd.
So it's been almost a year, and so even almost a year later, you know, how do you continue to be Jesus strong? How do you strive to be strong in Him?
I want to show people love, like I was shown love, and I want to meet people where they're at and just be there for them when they ask for help. I don't want to push people, because I feel like that scares people away. But I strive to be the person that I want my daughter to be, or be the person that I want my son to be with. And I want to be proud of the person that I am. And what helps me more than just, like, I go to church every Sunday, and I read my Bible. I go to NA meetings because that keeps me sane and it keeps me connected. And I say a prayer every morning that keeps me very in touch. I ask for God's will for me today and the power to carry it out, because without God in my life, I know nothing and I am completely powerless. You can get through anything with God by your side, and that even though there's hard things coming, like, there's a reason for it. There is a purpose for it, and it's going to build you and make you stronger into the person that God wants you to be. I'm Kayla Heinrich, and I am Jesus Strong.
Lovely.
Was that great?
That was fantastic.
Okay.